book lovers, Victoria here and you're watching My Books and Me, and this year I decided that I was going to get back into doing Top 5 Wednesdays. Top 5 Wednesdays, if you don't know, is a Goodreads group created and run by Lainey and Samantha, who both have blogs and channels, and the whole idea is that every single Wednesday there is a new prompt to talk about 5 bookish things, whether it be books or characters or things relating to books, things like that. I used to do it quite a lot back in 2015 and 16. Last year not so much, mainly because I couldn't sort of get into some of the topics, and I just kind of eventually stopped checking every month to see what new topics were. But I decided this year I want to get back into doing it, whether it be as videos or as blog posts. And I feel like today's topic is perfect because it goes into one of, it's part of the topic that is today, and that is 2018 reading resolutions. So a side resolution for me is to do Top 5 Wednesday, but let's get into it. The first one is reading goal. My reading goal for this year is 75 books. Last year my original reading goal was 50 books and I managed to smash that by finishing the year on 83 books. So I feel like 75 is a really reasonable number considering what I've read, and if I continue reading some amazing books that I just really fly through, I have really high hopes that I can reach 75 and hopefully smash that again, and maybe even smash my last year's goal, which is the most books I've read in a year. So hopefully maybe I can read 85 books, I don't know, but 75 is my goal and I feel very confident about the fact that I can smash that. Number 2 is better blogging. So you'd think if I read 83 books last year, I'd have around about 83 reviews written on my blog. No, I have probably 20. I did not get around to reviewing like as many books as I wanted to last year on my blog. And it's a shame because reviewing books is really the basis of being a book blogger. And the problem I had last year was I was reading books so quickly that by the time I got around to writing a review for a book, I'd already read probably 5 since I'd read it. And it was very hard to find the motivation to write a review for a book. It had been so long since I'd read, and I'd read so many other books between it. And even especially books in series where I'd maybe read the next books in the series, I find it really hard to write reviews for books when I've read the sequel to them. Because it's just really hard to sort of get the sequel out of your head and things like that. So this year I really want to write reviews for every single book I read, and I want to write a review before I pick up the next book, and I want to write that review before I pick up the next book so then I actually get the review written. So fingers crossed I can actually be a better book blogger and get reviews written, because I felt so bad that my blog was kind of a little bit inactive at times because I wasn't writing reviews. I'm going to change that, guys. Number 3 is reading a little bit more diversely. I say this every single year, and I think I'm slowly getting to being a little bit more of a diverse reader. And I mean diverse in the sense of actually reading diverse books, particularly own voices books. I definitely still have not really gotten into reading like actual diverse reads. I own quite a lot. I've not read them though. And I also mean diverse in the sense I want to diversify the genres I read. I very much am sticking to contemporary and fantasy, and I want to expand that. There is quite a lot of genres that I do own a few books from that I really actually want to read and see if I actually like these genres that I feel somewhat intrigued by. I also want to read more like non-fiction. I want to read more poetry, and I want to read more short stories, and I've been slowly getting there with them, but this year I really kind of want to crack down on it a little bit more and read a little bit more diversely. Number 4 is Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. Last year I said I was going to do the 2017 one, and I didn't make the slightest attempt at trying to do it. I think I may have written down the first book one of the first books I read that covered one of the challenges, but that was about it. This year I want to try and complete at least half of the challenge. I do not see myself actually completing the 2018 Pop Sugar Reading Challenge because a lot of the prompts for books are sort of things that require a lot of research and trying to find a book that I actually want to read that covers that topic. But I can complete, I think half is at least 20. If I can complete at least 20 of the little prompts and the book challenges, I will be happy. I really want to give it a proper shot because every time I've said I wanted to do the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge, I've never given it sort of a really good shot at trying to complete it. This year I'm going to try a little bit more. Finally, number 5 is getting my TBR under control. A lot of the books I own are unread, and if I look, like my bookshelf is over here, you guys can't see it obviously, and if I look at my bookshelf, I see so many unread books and so many books that I've said I wanted to read, and so many books that I thought I would have read by now and they're still unread, and I desperately want to get my TBR under control between both not buying so many books this year and actually obviously reading books that I own. Hopefully to try and cut it down a little bit more. It's going to take ages to actually cut it down to something that is manageable and like normal people's TBR. But if I can use this year to sort of help me get into a routine where I don't buy books so often and where I actually try and read the books that I own and try and get through them at a relatively good pace, then maybe, you know, in a couple of years time my TBR will be awesome and it won't be so intimidating. But that's a goal, to try and at least get my TBR down a little bit more. I should really go through my TBR and see how many books are on my TBR now, and then at the end of the year I can compare how well I did. I might do that. So they are my 5 reading and bookish resolutions for 2018. Let me know in the comments below some of yours, or if you're doing Top 5 Wednesday as well, let me know, because I'd love to check out your video or blog post or whatever. I feel like these resolutions are ones that I can conquer, that I can stick to, and that hopefully by the end of the year I can look back and go, yes, I either completed that resolution or I really attempted it and I got somewhere with it. I don't want to look, I definitely don't think any of these resolutions are ones that I'll look back on and go, oh, I really didn't try anything. I think the only one for that would be the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. I'll probably look back on that going, I really didn't do anything with that. But yeah, so I hope you guys have a fantastic reading year this year, and that the resolutions that you set yourself for this year, you succeed at them, whether they are reading resolutions or just general resolutions. So I will see you guys next week. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next week with another one. Bye!